What's up, guys? Today I want to talk to you about using your energy as a compass. So, what do I mean by that? Uh, think over your day yesterday, all right? All the activities you did, and then assign a plus or a minus. Did it give you energy or did it take away energy? I think about this in a few different areas. I'm sure we've all had someone in your life that after you hang around with them, you feel completely drained. I had a coworker once, like every day when I came in, it was always about the bad things that happened that day or what they hate about the job or what they hate about their life, like literally. And you can imagine how draining that is, just to take on all that, like that negative energy and that heaviness of that. And you walk away just feeling like, oh shit, like I don't want to deal with that. And then you kind of start backing away. Maybe you've had like a dating relationship where you and your partner always fight and you just feel exhausted, right? So conversely though, maybe you have that one friend who's always in a good mood. He's always making jokes. Like I have a couple of like old friends that go back 20 years and like, I don't care what's going on. Like we're always going to laugh. I can always like be silly with them and it just kind of charges me up and vice versa. And I, cherish those relationships. But like, think about the relationships in your life. Maybe it's like, I'm guessing maybe it's a certain family member, right, that can drain you. I had one family member who I lived with at one point in my life as an adult, and it was very challenging. And, I had to really try to set boundaries on that because I know if I engage, they're just kind of energy vampires. That's a term that I've definitely experienced in my own life. So, think about the people in your life right now. Right? Who gives you energy versus who takes it? Now, obviously, you can't cut everyone off, nor should you. But I think for the people that are, taking your energy, you choose to whether or not you want to interact with them. And if you do, you want to kind of manage that because you want to kind of protect your energy because really it can kind of affect your productivity, your outlook, your health. It's not to get super metaphysical, but everything's on a frequency. And, when you're around that person who's like super negative, you can almost align to that frequency and then you start feeling negative. It's like energy synchronization or something along that line. Also though, you want to hang out with the people that like give you energy, duh. So think about it in your life, who's taking versus who's giving. And, if you can, double down on the people that are giving you energy. Maybe you do an audit of your relationships and you're like, everyone's taking my energy. Okay. Well, then I would encourage you to maybe go find some new types of friends. Maybe break up with your partner. Go find a new one. Obviously, you can't find a new family member, but okay, can you limit that time and search for other people who are going to give you energy? I would say, look for new social relationships and get around and continue to look and continue to try new things until you get around people that give you energy because they are out there. If you struggle with finding that for a long period of time, then maybe it's important to look at your own behavior as well. Similarly, like look at like work. I've had a variety of jobs in my life, and I definitely know the ones that took my energy. I call it like crushing my soul. I had a job, made great money, and every day going to work, I just felt like it was like a prison. And I know that sounds dramatic, but it started to eat at me. I started to get like physical symptoms like acid reflux, insomnia, headaches, and it really started to take a toll on my body. And until eventually I decided to leave. And, I started doing things that give me energy. I was a psychologist in the past by trade, and, I love seeing patients. However, the work environment you're seeing in those patients matters. For me, having autonomy gives me energy. Being able to set my own schedule and set my own boundaries with patients gives me energy or protects my energy. Like right now, I get to, choose the people I want to work with, which is really important. So really look at your job, and again, you have to make a living. Well, you don't have to, but you know what I mean. So obviously you don't want to put yourself in a financial bind, but if your job is taking your energy, what is something I encourage you to explore other avenues for making income. And there are other avenues, and that goes back to if you find yourself saying, I can't, watch the other video I just made, the one directly before this, because we talk about I can't. If you're not happy or if your job is taking your energy, I strongly encourage you to search for something that gives you energy. because this is cheesy, but you could drop dead tomorrow. Okay. So I think it's worth your time to find avenues for work that can earn your money, that recharge your batteries and are meaningful. And that's kind of the perfect storm. Obviously, you don't want to be homeless. So if you need to go flip burgers at McDonald's, go do that until you can find something more meaningful. But, I think Stephen Covey talks about this. It's like 7 habits of highly effective people. And I think the best concept from that book is like win-win. So if I can find work that benefits others in some way, right? I'm giving value to someone, like they're winning. And if that work energizes me, if that work is meaningful to me, if I feel accomplished and achieved and it's important, I win, right? So if you're doing a job just for the money, I guess you could count that as a win as money, but it's also a loss because it's, slowly eating away at your soul. So audit your job. I think, I'm just going to guess, a lot of people are not happy with their job, okay? So I would encourage you to, okay, what's another avenue you can make money in that would, you would find meaningful? Maybe it's some sort of passion project that you can work on the side. When I was working the 9 to 5, during my weekends and nights, I would work on my side project. And that gave me energy. Truth be told, eventually I kind of burned out because I was doing too much, but I'll talk about burnout in another video. But, do things that charge you up. For me, I was making an app that I launched and I'm currently working on now. That really kind of charged me up because it excited me. It was something new, and it was all mine. I had control and autonomy, and I like control and autonomy. So find something that charges you up. Find something that fires you up, and if you can, work a little bit on it each day or a couple times a week. Okay, the next thing I would audit in your life is like how you're spending your free time as far as giving you energy and taking your energy. For me, I know doom scrolling like on YouTube or Reddit does not give me energy. It's just super addicting and you go down a rabbit hole. We've all done it. We're all addicted to our devices, or most people are. But that doesn't give me energy. Things that give me energy, working out, going for a walk without my phone. Sounds crazy, I know, but I've been doing that now in the mornings. First thing in the morning, I get up and I go for a walk when the sun comes up with nothing. And it's like, it's almost like crazy that this sound, it's crazy to me that sounds crazy, probably to a lot of people. Like, oh, you walk without a phone or you don't listen to headphones, like, because we're so wired in all the time. But I think that alone can have a draining effect because we need silence. We need empty space for us to think about things. And just to kind of recharge and reset. And I think how you start your day matters. If you're waking up immediately and just grabbing your phone and it's just like, it's a lot. So walking, working out, meditating, stretching, all these things kind of give me energy. I know these are like good things, like bang for my buck. Free time as well. This kind of goes back to like doing things that are enjoyable with people you care about, like hobbies or sports or things like that. Working out. I used to host a poker game at my house. That was a lot of fun, like with all my friends and things like that. So finding activities that like charge you up. It's kind of straightforward, but maybe not. Other thing is like food. Food's a big one. I think physical health, the connection between physical health and mental health is so underappreciated. And, look, I love a great cheeseburger from like Shake Shack or In-N-Out. But if I ate it every day, I would feel like shit. I would have terrible energy. I wouldn't be able to do it's like if I had a burger, I'm not going to like make a YouTube video after that. I'm going to be exhausted. I'm going to be like groggy because it's probably just like your system's like, what the fuck? So thinking about the foods that energize you. Obviously, everybody is different, but I would say like for me, it's like lean meats, grass-fed beef. I know this sounds like such a bro diet, but blueberries, salmon, vegetables like spinach and things like that. All these things like are clean and I feel good eating them. And I feel like I can just like carry on my day. So, so many people eat like shit and obviously it's more expensive to eat healthy. So you can obviously you have to eat what you can afford, but I think a lot of people do it too out of convenience, eat fast food. And fast food, again, I eat it every now and then, but like if you eat it regularly, it's going to be just taking your energy on credit. Like you get that like dopamine satisfaction of like eating the cheeseburger and then the rest of the day, you're just kind of like sluggish. So be careful. I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I would say encourage you to kind of audit your diet and, plus or minus what's giving you energy versus what's taking it. So again, though, like this awareness is the first step of change. So, look over all these areas like relationships, free time, work, diet, and see what's draining your energy. It might be more, you might not have any idea. And I think maybe just getting it on paper, plus or minus, or with me, I just chat GPT everything. I just you could just like speak into it and have it rate it for you. But I'm curious, what does your kind of audit tell you?